Welcome to Natural Habitat Adventures Daily Dose of Nature. Today's topic, Springtime in India, our latest wildlife sightings, presented by NatHab Expedition Leader Arpita Dutta. I'm your host, Rob Mess. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Take it away, Arpita.
Thank you so much, Rob, for such a lovely welcome. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. I hope all of you are doing great. Belated happy Easter to all of you. And with that, uh, like over here, the weather is changing. I think we can feel that in everywhere something or the other is happening. But in India also, the spring came like little late or pretty early. The summer has actually arrived pretty early. But I just finished the Grand India Wildlife Adventure just a few days ago. I came back on 28th of last month. So everything is pretty fresh, whatever I have seen in the forest, or rather we have seen in the forest. So I thought that it will be amazing to share with you that how this like recent the Grand India forest, like whichever forest we visit, is looking like, and what kind of sightings we had. So yeah, springtime generally it's from the March April time, but it's of course the end of the February we could see the transition of the forest. That's beautiful. So much of colorful leaves, and of course the sky, the temperature, it's very much soothing, comforting. And then we head on for the wildlife. So here this time we had around 11, like the highest group we can, highest people in the group we can have. So we have 11, and can you imagine, all the 11 were women, and we had a rock on women trip, and it couldn't be better than this. I mean, we almost rolled out on the ground by laughing. We got like muscle cramps because of laughing, and that's wonderful sightings we had. So yeah, we had a great fun. So yeah, to start with, to give you a little like view of the Grand India. So that's how it comes, as we travel quite a good amount of distance, more than 3,500 miles, and that by flight, vehicles, like that. So we all meet in Delhi, where my cursor is. That's the capital. From there, we go to Jabalpur, and from Jabalpur, we visit the Bandhavgarh National Park, our first national park, and then we drive to Kanha National Park, the second one. So these two national parks are situated in central part of India, and where it is the mixed deciduous forest and the highlands are there. And then from there, from Kanha, we drive to Raipur, and from Raipur, we fly to Kolkata for a halt just for the night. Next morning, we fly to Jorhat, which is the closest airport to our our final destination, the Kaziranga National Park, which is situated in the northeastern part of India. So from Jorhat, we drive to Kaziranga, and from once we are done, we fly back to Delhi and we say goodbye. Or if anybody is doing the Taj extension, we drive to Agra. So this is how the entire trip go, like the traveling part of it. So in Delhi, and this trip started on 15th of March, and we on 15th of March we meet each other, we greet each other, and then we straight head out for the small city tour. We go to Jama Masjid, we can go to Gandhi Mandap, we visit different places, but the exciting part of being in the city, or rather the old Delhi area, is the rickshaw ride. You can imagine like very tiny lanes, and people are like have their for hundreds of few shops are more than 100 of years old, and they have been like selling like this, and people are buying standing over there, and you just move through those lanes by a rickshaw. So yeah, it's been pretty amazing. You get to see a lot of colors, culture, people, and whatnot. So after this, and yeah, no animal sighting much apart from some pigeons and some rhesus macaque or the gray lamur in the city. And of course, there are a good number of birds. Even few of the guests have seen the fruit bat as well, the flying fox. So yeah, after we cover the city for the day, 16th we head out for to go to Bandhavgarh. First, we take a flight from Delhi to Jabalpur, and from there we drive. Yeah, drive safely. It's roads, it's amazing drivers, and we drive safely, and we get to Bandhavgarh. And as soon as we reach Bandhavgarh, this is our lodge, is the King's Lodge where we stay, where we call it our home for next 3 nights. And soon, if the time permits, depending if the flight is on time, we reach there on time, then we generally take a afternoon safari. And we head to directly to the dining area to have our lunch, and from there we head out for our very first safari. So this time also we rushed in, just kept the bags, we ate. Few of us, we didn't even go to the room because we were so excited to like hit uh, the the terrain, the track. So yeah, we head out for the safari, and once we enter the gate, I think we were kind of the group, we were appreciating everything. And the best part was like anything which we could see or we could hear, we were spending a good time out there. So the first thing which we could not miss are were the rhesus macaque. And all the macaques, I mean primates, if we talk in general, and especially this macaques or the langurs, they are the entertaining package. I mean, you be there and you see them doing so many things, and they will be in small troops or in groups, and all of them are busy with their own activity, and some are really funny. Over here, I couldn't take the picture. I was focusing in this little one and the one in front, but you can see it bent down, and the other one was like picking all the insects or trimming or pruning the other end body. So you can see the back is up, and it was almost lying down like this. So yeah, they do a lot of funny stuff. But so it was our first safari, and we were kind of okay. We just to feel the forest. That's I always say, and I totally believe, and I tell to every group I lead that once you indulge yourself for just for the respect of the forest, or just love the forest, mother nature never return you without seeing anything or without something very special, giving something very special to you. And so the same thing happened. I said, okay, let's enjoy the forest for the very first safari, because as it takes a little time, so we enter, sometimes it gets, after half an hour or 45 minutes after we could enter the gate, because we are coming from Delhi. So I said, let's take it just to understand the forest, because the more you understand the habitat, it becomes so good to spot the animals, to understand their behavior. So that was in the mind, and everybody was so much okay with that. Just to be in the forest was so much of fun. And we have been watching their activity, and suddenly from one vehicle, they were just going through and say that a tiger sighting is happening. And of course, when you get to hear that a tiger sighting is happening, your adrenaline, I think, rush definitely increases. And of course, we said, okay, we had to say bye to those entertaining macaques, and we just went through the area where where they were saying the sighting is happening. And generally, for this kind of sighting, it is not, we have to understand the spot, we have to understand the timing, which is very important, because they are wild animals, they don't stick in one place. So that was also there, that by the time we go, if it moves from there, then it will be difficult. When we headed close, we saw a few vehicles has been were standing, and I saw something moved in the grass, which is pretty far away. I said, no ways, after coming so close, because it's the habitat I know. I could see, a small, like something moved from the grassland, which is more than like almost 50, 60 meter away. And I said, oh no, we missed it. And then we moved there. Okay, it's amazing. First of all, we get to spot the tiger was a challenging thing for a lot of us, because it was high on a like stone. And it was high on a stone. You can see the habitat here. And there were bamboo thickets, and here were the stones, and it was on top of it, licking its paw, yawning, and kind of in a relaxed way, like it was sitting over there. But there were vehicles, you can see it was very difficult to capture the full like the tiger face and all. But I just thought a record shot would be fine. But the first time, when few of us, the two three we had three vehicles, and the first two, when we saw the tiger, I found one of the guests, like she was so pleased. And of course she has to be, she was from a WWF person, and she literally cried, and it touched my heart, because you definitely feel the same way. Imagine so much of conservation work, so much of effort go upon this big cat, to save its habitat, to provide a perfect, for like guard, the grant, everything. So the hard work behind, and then you get to see it for the very first time. I think that was the most precious or treasurable moment a person can have. So that was our first tiger sighting. And it came out, it crossed the road, it drank water, and we could see it. And then it started walking towards the grassland, which was, then it is difficult to watch it, you can only see the grasses moving. Okay, very good, it's done. And then we came out from there, and again there was a tiger sighting happened on the very same day. Imagine, we were there only for a couple of hours, we could not even be there for the entire safari. So we that time it was already like evening time, late afternoon I would say. And we got to see another one, and they say that they are like siblings, so they are like adults, sub adults rather than. And that's why they are dispersing. They would be near about, like they will be in a close proximity, but uh, they will now claim their own territory. So imagine, on the same day, we got to see two individual tigers. That, I think, that was something incredible which has happened. So with that, we had to leave the forest because the time was getting over. And while coming out again, uh, on the way, it was not even inside the forest. On the way, you can see this little one was really irritating this too. And then slowly it started pulling its tail. And actually I could not capture the moment. This one actually slapped the little one on its face, and then it started climbing the tree at the top. And I think that those were some funny moments. Even after the tiger sighting, when we came back, it was, first of all, it was unbelievable that for within 2 hours we got to see two individual tigers. But also our topic was those langurs and those macaques. So we rested, and of course, after seeing two tigers, we were pretty excited, and we were up in the morning. Most of the time we have to wake up by 4:30, depending on how fast you can get ready. So by 5:15 we start, and they were so excited that said we can stay up all night to just go in the morning and see the forest and the other animals. So you can see, and the spring, the color of the spring is so beautiful. You can see this Ceylon oak with this beautiful new red leaves, and this bamboo turning like yellow, and there are other sal which is changing its color with a light green yellow shade, and you can see the forest floor. It was definitely the photograph. uh, Definitely doesn't do the justice of the how the forest is looking. And springtime, this transition time, the animals over there, the deer, they are changing their winter coat to a summer coat, and their rutting has started. So the residential birds have their courtship time. So yeah, a lot of things was happening around us. And yeah, so in the morning we started seeing a lot of birds and few animals. These are the summer, and we were watching some your painted stork. And while these two were, somehow there were no fighting, these two female were running behind each other, and this little one was kind of something a little alert, but nothing was there. Maybe they were like in a just a playtime area. And over here you can see a red nape ibis which was pecking on the ground and feeding. So yeah, with that, we saw the largest cattle in the world, which is called the Gor. Huge. If you have heard, if you have listened to my other Grand India or thing, you would say might have heard that I always call them like they are the Schwarzenegger of the forest, because of their terrific muscle. They have so much muscle. They are so big. Though this is a young fellow, that's why its dewlap is didn't grow much, or you can't see much muscles over here. But yeah, this itself was a pretty big guy. You can see the vehicle is there. It is standing pretty far, but still you can see the animal very well. So yeah, with those gores munching on and moving around, giving us very straight look that okay, you were here, but it's better we don't like interact, kind of a look it was giving. And yeah, with that, it's and Bandhavgarh and Kanha, they are like amazing with landscape. You can see it. It's a beautiful, like over the fort, the tabletop plateau, and then you have the entire forest here, the tree line. Then you have beautiful meadows and this suburb. The entire thing was looking absolutely fantastic. But when you look through the binocular and you look through close, you see them with their activities. Like they were rutting. This is not like a combat kind of a thing. They were not fighting. They were not sizing each other. This is just a game. They were interacting with each other. So yeah, watching them in that kind of a habitat is definitely a bliss. With that, okay. Another tracking, like here listening to the alarm calls, and we in India, we don't have walkie-talkies, or we don't have any kind of medium for which we can actually get to know that where the tiger is. It's all about your timing, or if anybody has heard this, the jeep is crossing and they say, okay, I have heard that there is that spot tiger sighting is happening. So this is how the communication happened. And if you ever come to India, in this Grand India wildlife, or India, Nepal, even this kind of areas, if you come, you will see that no matter, you won't see much vehicles, but where the tiger sighting happening, even without a phone or walkie talkie or anything, you would see a lot of vehicle get to gather over there, just because the alarm calls, what the forest gives you, all the signs that okay, some predator is moving on that side, and that's how they search find, and then the communication. And this time I say that it is more like the ants. When you see an precision at ant, they are moving. Sometimes you will see some ant is coming from the opposite direction, and this kind of put their mouth together. Of course, it's a transition, but it is also an information generating system. So our vehicles are more like that. They will come, they will pass by, exchange information, and then they go back. And yes, by that again we reached another spot where we got to see this tiger, which was not in a hurry, was in the water, cooling itself off because it was very hot. And we were just before that, we have been like talking about that, let's stay under the shade and all. But when the tiger sighting happening, your summer sun, everything like just buzz off from our mind. Yeah, so it stayed there. You can see how it's yawning, and then it stood up, and of course all of us were ready to take shots. And with that, it moved up, it climbed an embankment area, it crossed, it sat in one place, checked its body, and lie down there. And of course it's a cat. If it feels, it's a big male. I think in its prime time. And it's a cat, so no matter how many people are waiting to see it move, but no matter what, it was just lying down, like it's annoyed maybe. But yeah, it just lied down there. So we had a good sighting, and I just said, okay, let's leave this tiger here. It's a big forest, right? So we can just move around because we can see a lot of other animals too. And we started, one vehicle of ours, so where I am, so we left that area, but there were few who were, there were other vehicles as well, they were waiting for that tiger to move and to walk around or come back to the water. But anyway, we left. And next, what we saw, another tiger, another big male, in a different area, which was also lying down in the water. And very like, most probably it had made a kill, or it has like fed itself, because through the binocular we could see there were blood near those whiskers and near those facial hair. So yeah, that was the thing. So it was cooling it off, and we stood there. Only two vehicles were there in this sighting, and it was, you can see how it is looking at us. And then we stood there. It got up, stretched itself, stretched its body, it came down, and again it sat somewhere. Oops, sorry. Again, it sat somewhere close to us. And then again, it started walking and then came to an open area. So you can see the walk, you can see the eyes. My God. I mean, looking at this picture, but seeing it walking towards you, it's something very different. And the way they walk, or you just imagine, you just think it's very cuddly, but when you see the eye, oh gosh, that can actually numb your spine. And this one, what happened, our vehicle, to have a better look, we were standing one of the in on the bridge. We were there, and that other vehicle was there, and it started coming. Generally, it takes a pathway which is under the bridge. It's just a connection, it's a small bridge. So it goes generally under the bridge. So we were standing on top of it. Suddenly, maybe that day, it realizes that it needs to jump on the bridge and to cross the road. Can you imagine? It jumped right behind. Of course, we were pretty far, like almost 20, 15, yeah, 15 feet away. But it's a tiger, it's a huge cat. It just jumped behind, just on the bridge, and then it started going slowly towards the bush, giving this spray marked, and it moved its head, doing this the feminine response, all this thing it did. So we have seen that. So we have seen like the walking tiger, the relaxing one, the yawning on one. We have seen the one which was cooling itself off in the water. This third one, this fourth one we saw, with which we know that it had done a kill. You can, if you see where my cursor is, you can see the blood stain is there even here. So yeah, we saw that okay, it had done a kill. Now it's cooling it off, and then it started walking, sensing it around, that what is there, any in the presence. I mean, that is how they know the presence of other animals or other tiger around them. So after that, the other vehicle left, and we said okay, we would move back. So there were only single vehicle, so we headed, and we have been talking, like, imagine after so many sightings, it was very, we could not even believe that this is happening. And we have been looking at the leaves, birds and everything, and suddenly our driver said, oh, there is another tiger on the road. And can you imagine? I mean, exactly when I'm telling you this, I'm still feeling those excitement. And we first of all, what are you saying? Another tiger? And it's a tigress, and she's a mother of almost like three cubs, which are varying. So she's a nesting mother, and she was just resting on the road. You can see that's closed eyes, and we have been standing there, but it didn't even realize that, or it didn't even bother to move. And we were the only vehicle who were having this sighting. It's like a privilege to see a tiger where only two to three vehicles, or one vehicle especially. So it was like a prize we got on that day. We saw it like peeing, then doing those scraping, like scratch marks and everything it did. And then slowly it started walking head on, like it was not even moving out from the main track where our vehicle is, and we cannot go in any other place. So the next time, when she almost for 10 good like 10-15 minutes, she was walking right like ahead of us. And then our vehicle like moved, and then she went towards this area, towards the bush, to do its spray marking, the territory marking. And then we crossed. I mean, if we wouldn't have, then we had to like keep on moving behind her, but we were running out of time. But yeah, we had to imagine, we had to leave the tigress because we were running out of time, because you can't be late, otherwise the vehicle and the guides get fined. So yeah, so this thing happened. And of course, in between we had amazing birding. There were a lot of people who were interested in birding, or rather I would say they were interested in a lot of things. So that made our trip very, very special. So yeah, we all were doing some birding. We had seen the spotted owlet, the brown fish owl, the jungle owlet, and I think, but the showstopper for this trip for Central India was the Indian roller, because they were showing, doing all this courtship behavior. So the feeding, and of course, when they were like two, or sometimes there were four to six roller at the same time, and they have been showing those behavior to impress the female, getting, catching insects, coming back and trying to feed her or offering her. So I think we had, and those flash of indigo colors, I think we have spent so much time just to capture one flight shot, or just to see what they do, their call, their funny body movements. I think that has stolen the grace from this trip, I mean, from the rest of the birds. So we also got to see the bee eaters, and the lesser adjutant stork, which was almost slowly moving and catching its prey, the insects or small fish. And then, of course, the beautiful bird, the peacocks. We even saw few of them were displaying, and there were like three, four females around, or some male. And the one with the beautiful tail feather, it never misses the chance to impress the female, and the female behaves just like that. They really don't care. They keep on pecking and stuff, and the poor guy tries a lot, tries really hard to impress, or to show, or to display its grace to the male which doesn't have the tail feather. So yeah, we were on the track to find out many more animals. And while doing that, what a beautiful sighting we got is the pug marks, not only of the big tiger, but you can see this tiny little pug marks. They're like two, they are just 4 to 5 months old. That's what our guide said. And you can see there were three cubs were there. So you see, they were not walking in a very straight line, just like how kids play, the playful kittens. If you have cats in the house, so how they would be out of the track, like rolling down. So you would see a lot of areas where you would see that little ones that just sat, or just sat on its bum. So you see those tracks and marks. And I think, it's not only we could not see those cubs, but it's a great feeling, because we saw the other tigress, that we know that it's a nesting mother, and then now we see this little pug marks. I think that's a great achievement for increasing the tiger population. Just to see it, that yeah, it's happened, and at the same time that they are living in this forest. I mean, because the cubs are really vulnerable to a lot of animals, even other tigers. So yeah, with that, from Bandhavgarh, we had a special treat, because in central India and in Kaziranga also, but in central India, we have, in these two national parks, we had a slim chance to see a sloth bear. And we have been talking about a sloth bear for a long period of time, since our trip has started. And after the last tiger sighting, once it was over, it just felt like, okay, let's roam around, because they don't have a like particular territory, just like how tigers have. And say that, okay, let's just move around, you never know. And how, like, surprisingly, I was just giving some stories about the sloth bear conservation, and where we saw some, termite mounds which are disturbed, say, and probably it is done by the bear. And we have been talking that it is even in this kind of an area park, it's easier to see a tiger rather than a sloth bear. That's we were thinking. And right in front of our vehicle, we saw a bear was just coming right on the track. And fortunately, this bear wasn't a very shy one, or maybe it was very hungry. It just in front of us, it scrapped all the, I mean, the one termite mounds. The dust was blowing, it was making the sound. Even it tried to like suck the, the termites exactly how they do it. And of course, if something gets in their nose, they just blow it. So all these sounds, and it was so stunning. And we could see, I mean, whatever I was telling them, that this is how it happens, this is, see, this one is this. And exactly the thing is, it seems like a practical thing is happening after the theory class. So it was so damn fun to see it. So yeah, we are really, it is a treat to come across a sloth bear, and that has happened. And with that, we signed off from Bandhavgarh National Park, and next we drive to our second destination, is the Kanha National Park, and we get in the Singinava Jungle Lodge. And this is kind of, we call it, where I have found it, whenever they step into this one, most of the case say, can we stay back here? So yeah, The lodge is that beautiful. So with that, we didn't waste much time. We took little rest and had our dinner, and then we went out for the night drive. We saw many roosting butterflies, deer, tiger pugmark, and then a lot of fireflies, and heard a lot of like owl, and yeah, and a lot of tracks like porcupines. We have seen mongoose tracks, but not no bigger animals we could sight, because the day we entered we had a storm was there, a hailstorm was there, so of course the forest changed a bit on the day in Kanha. So early morning we head out, and I always say morning in Kanha is magical. You can see why. It's a misty morning in Kanha, especially in winter, but also in spring. It's beautiful. So yeah, with the beautiful landscapes, and let me tell you something that I don't know why, but while making this presentation, I suddenly figured out that I haven't taken any pictures of the tiger which we have seen in Kanha. I don't know why, but yeah, but we have seen quite a lot, and so in total number we have seen 15 tigers, like individual tigers. So you can imagine in in only in central India. So yeah, but anyway, so this is the beautiful landscape and beautiful morning in Kanha. And you can see the when the golden light touches the forest itself like becomes so beautiful, so pretty, that no matter what you see, it has you can't even move your eyes from that. Even this spotted deer, which you spot very easily, even the antler, just look at the lining out here. I could not like take a better picture of it, but it was looking stunning. The termite mound, this ceylon oak tree, the leaves, the mahua flower and the mahua leaves, and look at look at the deer and the langur. That's why they kind of stay together, and they share a symbiotic relationship. And they also, if you have seen the BBC documentary The Spy of the Jungle, you will get more stories on them. And this is the highlight of Kanha is the hard ground Barasinga, um, or hard ground swamp deer, which is called the Barasinga. And it was like when a style, it was crossing the road. And by the way, this deer only you can see it in Kanha, nowhere else. Right now, though they have been translocated to a different area, different forest, to just increase the population, but that is not a tourism zone, so here only you can see them. And with that, of course, our entertaining like animals came like right on there. They were always there, and you can see that they in the afternoon, in a little around 9:30 or 10, they were just relaxing, and most of the langurs were having their like babies with them, and few we found some gravid female as well. So yeah, with that, in the water we found beautiful turtle. And of course, working in the turtle conservation, when I see turtles, I get a little more excited. And this time I think the guests have taken the responsibility of making me happy. That whenever they see a turtle, they always, Arpita, did you see that turtle? And I feel so blessed and so happy that how they were showing excitement while seeing the turtle. Of course, this is a flap shell turtle, and this is also like a scheduled one, exactly like the tiger, because it's of high rate of trafficking for the meat, and I don't know for for a lot of reason. Yeah, so this one is special. This one definitely is special. So with that, even the termite mounds, I have very few times I feel that we have spent more than couple of hours just admiring each and every termite mounds in Kanha, in those areas where our vehicle was passing. because few of our guests were like so interested because it's the castle, and depending on which area they have built the mound, the color of the soil, the structure was so different that we had to stop and minutely notice that what all those termite mounds were and how they have built it, how the channel might have made. So all these things were there. And with that, we have crossed few streams, the dirt track and the bumpy road. And yes, when we talk about the bumpy road, you will definitely get a good massage, because, and if you are having a smartphone, you will find that you have crossed 20,000 22,000 steps in one drive. So yeah, this is how the track and the forest looks like. And some beautiful trees during the transition, I mean during the transition period, the change in colors with the new leaves and the old leaves. And we have done something amazing this time, is which has started from this season, is the walk in the buffer. Because during safaris we miss out a lot of things, like the small things in the forest, but while on a walk we get to appreciate it more closely and understand the habitat clearly. And we could see that those habitats have been like used by the tiger, the dhole, the wild dog of India, and the porcupines, the deer, snakes. We found like a lot of molting of the Indian rock python. Even their scat we saw under some caves, but we couldn't see the python. But yeah, we took a good like 4 hours of walk, and we could see a lot, the ghost tree, the weaver ant nest where Vipul is showing the guest. And we a few of us got bitten also, but it's nothing to worry. And so yeah, this is the nest. Because of the storm it fell down, so that's why there were a lot of ants on the ground, but generally they don't come in that amount on the ground. So yeah, with that, but the highlight of the walk, though we have seen the tiger pugmark and even the dhole pugmark, but dhole's cat as well. But I think the highlight of the trip was this ornate tree trunk spider. You can imagine everyone was behind it. And of course, happy us after finishing the walk, after being saying that we all are alive and we appreciated the forest so much. And of course, without Central India cannot complete without enjoying the tribal dance over there, where you can also join with the rhythm, or rather, you can't stop your feet or your body without moving, just staying still, because the rhythm is so catchy. The rhythm gets into your nerves. It's so beautiful to be with them and to dance around with them with simple steps, but music keeps you on the rhythm. So yeah, with that, we fly to Kolkata, and from there we reach to Jorhat, and from Jorhat we drive to Kaziranga National Park, and here we stay at Diflu River Lodge, one of the best lodge we have in, or rather I would say the best, because it's the eco lodge and it's so nicely done, without without harming or without getting so much into concrete or thing, not disturbing the habitat. It's very logically done, and in a beautiful location away from the hustle and the crowded areas. So yeah, with that and the drive we take, the very first we get to see our the showstopper of Kaziranga National Park is the greater one horn rhinoceros. And of course, it's a treat to your eyes to see this armored rhino in front of you, and just walking around, grazing, and like doing spray mark. urinating, pooping, cooling themselves up in water. We have seen almost a lot. Rather, we have counted 70 plus rhinos, not always so close, but near and far together. After that, we stopped counting the rhinos. So yeah, we got to see the showstopper here, and then another very important, or rather the one of the sighting we really want to have is the capped langur, because they are very different from the gray langur and you don't see them very often. So we got to see a full like troop, and while we were going on the track, they were following us above, like they were hanging, they were jumping from one branch to another, and that's how they started moving with us for a while, and then they move into the deeper area of the forest. And we saw the swamp ground barasinga, which you see in Kaziranga, and here is a hog deer behind. So yeah, these are the new two deer you get to see here. And there are loads and loads of birds in Kaziranga. Kaziranga, we always call it, it's like the Serengeti, because you get so many birds and so many animals together that it's very difficult to wind up everything in one, even in one presentation, only if we do it in Kaziranga in detail. So it's always better to come and see it by yourself. It's I always call Kaziranga my home. Like whenever I step in, I feel that I'm back home. So yeah, because I spend most of my time in this forest. And yeah, we saw gray-headed fish eagle. We saw this black-necked stork, the pelican, which was hunting, and then the the griffin and the slender bill vulture. There are a lot. Actually, I could not just put all the birds in the slides. We saw the Kalis pheasant, the beautiful jungle fowl, which is more like a color palette. And look at this beautiful Kalis pheasant. The female was following the male, and it's just so pretty. And with that, we saw many more rhinos. And with that, we saw the water buffalo, though they are looking very small from here. Just to give an idea about their horn, it's this. You can see that their horn can go this big, or rather, maybe because of the picture, the horn is looking smaller, but they are huge. They are huge. So we saw them. There were some calves, and they were just moving around, wallowing in the mud, and like just throwing mud on their body to get rid of the insects as well. So yeah, a lot of egrets and myna were moving around the rhinos and the buffaloes, to have their own feast. So with that, we saw the Asian elephant as well. It's a bull, though it was hiding behind the bush, too shy to come out, but it was busy feeding for itself. So it didn't come out, and we had to leave that area, so we left. But yeah, we saw the Asian elephant, and with that, into the water bodies, we was a surprising thing, because it's not very easy to see a water monitor. We kind of see a lot of Bengal monitor during these safaris, but water monitor is very rare. Which we saw, it was basking on this log. You can see the head, the eyes were closed. You see the beautiful color, the pattern, and you see the tail is going here, 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 and still it's going. I couldn't have the full picture. And then we have seen some endangered species, which is the Assam roof turtle, which was buzzing. The lady knows how to exactly hold the log to stay in its position for a long time. So yeah, with that, our another exciting thing, which we mostly see on the just beside the forest beside the highway, are the hula gibbons. So we all were out from our vehicles, standing over there. You can see the other vehicles are also over here, and we have been like watching those hula gibbons through binocular. We got a good look, but could manage. This is a previous trip picture, but we have seen it. We have seen the male and female, but they were little far this time. But yeah, we had a great look, and after seeing that, we felt, even we saw the giant squirrel. And when we were combining everything, like we whatever we have gone through, we have seen, I think we this time it was more than enough what we could expect from all these forests, what we have seen, what we have realized. And I think more than what we have seen, it's that being in the forest, how we felt. And that was the highlight. I think everyone who has been to this particular trip would agree with me that being with each other and just enjoying ourselves in the forest itself made it so special. And all these sightings were just like the cherry on the cake. And with that, we our last sighting which we happened, and you can see all the smiles because of the gangetic dolphin, another critically endangered species. A lot of work is happening to protect it, to protect its habitat. And you can imagine that we have seen quite a few gangetic dolphin, but it is very difficult to take a picture because you never know from where it is coming out and where it is going, and they live in a murky water. That makes it more difficult. And they don't see as well. They were blind, they're almost blind, so they go by the echolocation thing. So anyway, and we could see only they were coming out, and we could see the splash, and from everywhere somebody saying, oh, there is the one, oh, there is the one, oh, did you see that? All this kind of sound is coming. And from this trip particularly, one thing has happened is our expression after having a sighting is accurately and very same with each other, is like, I mean, who all these sounds, I mean, we never used to think that we will do it together, but somehow 11 of us do it in the if we are having the sighting at the same time, we do it in a very rhythmic way. And that was, I think, pretty exciting thing for this particular trip as well. So that's how our trip ended on 26th. On 26th, we left Kaziranga in the morning. While coming, also we tried for the gibbons, but they were not there because we left very early from there. And we reached Guwahati airport, and from there we fly back to Delhi. And we departed, like, we had a Taj extension, the Taj Mahal extension. So I left with two guests in a separate way, and the rest moved out to the way back home. And of course, this was been like one of the memorable trip I had in this so many seasons. Yeah, so thank you all of the guests who been with me. I don't know anybody is listening to this or not. And thank you everyone for listening to the story and to the trip. It was a big, like, 52 slides. I didn't know that how would I finish it, but thankfully it did. But I had to actually miss out a lot of animals and a lot of birds so that I can just finish it in an hour. But thank you so much for listening. I hope I'll see any of you who are listening to me someday in this trip. And okay, Rob, I'm ready to take up questions.
Thank you, Arpita. Now, before we get into the questions, I would like to remind everyone that if you do have a question, you can submit it via the question field in your control panel. All right, let's get to some of these questions. Those adult rhinos are pretty amazing. It's hard to believe that anything could successfully eat an adult rhino, but what does prey on them if anything does?
No, it's mostly, I mean, they are fully threatened to the poaching part, though it has reduced a lot. hardly we get any cases now for poaching related, but the bigger ones are not. If they're fighting among each other and get wounded, that's a different thing, but only the little ones are vulnerable to tigers, of course. And then sometimes the bigger rhino, but there are very rare cases. Only I think only I have heard 2 3 cases in last 15 years that rhino is killed by the bull elephant. Yes.
So, what are the function of those bumpy plates on the back of the rhino? Are those for protection?
The bumpy plates on the rhino. I think it's more to do with the habitat. With different habitats, the way they are in the kind of places they need more thicker skin or to blend in. It's mostly like that. Another is the tropical climate. I don't know if I go back. Okay, let me go back to the slide. Yeah. So if you see those ridges out here, so in these folds you have this little pinkish, like thin skin from where they do the thermoregulation to cool themselves off. And also, these words what you see at the back, so the capillary endings are much closer to the skin. So when they wallow, when they are in the water, it helps them to cool them, or like cool them off easily.
Great, thank you so much. So, do the buffaloes have to worry about tigers very much?
Yes, not the bigger one, but for a calf, yes.
Great, thank you. So let's talk about the trip for a second. How many days was the trip?
So it started on 15th of March and it ended on 26th of March. So 11 days.
Great, thank you. So, is it safe to walk around the lodge at night? Or we have to worry about animals? And when we're out on walks, the same question: how are we protected from tigers?
So inside the lodge at night, like if you're walking on the pathway, it is fine. But generally, like the wild boar, spotted deer, and langurs, that what you have. But sometimes do leopards come near those lodges, and even tigers. But we always suggest that keep a flashlight, and unless it is very late at night, like 11:30, 12, after 12:30, you generally don't see many animals are near the track. So inside the lodge, carry a flashlight after evening, or most of the time there are people who would escort you from your room to the dining area, or just again leave you back to the room. This is what happens. And then for the buffer walk, what we did, that of course we had those local guides. And like in those areas we know that those tracks, and of course following the tracks and signs. And this is more like we don't carry any gun for sure. It's only understanding the tracks and signs and how you are understanding the forest. And I think there the experience of the, I mean, people who are working where we are working, we first thing which we keep in our concern is the safety. So with that we take a call that where, in which area we should go, and where we can walk through. So yeah, no, not to worry about it.
Great, thank you. And so the open vans, they're not risky either. We'll have no issues with anything jumping in, for instance.
No, 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 no. Nothing as of I mean, nothing has happened till date. And one thing I always say, Rob, that you being in the forest, we should be respectful and responsible. Like few vehicle you would see that which are for which I really love being working with NatHab as well, because it's very we work with a lot of ethics. You would see a lot of vehicles is moving towards the animal to see it more close, but we always stop at one certain point that after this, either it will be difficult for the animal to move, it will feel threatened, or even we were we won't be in a safer zone. So of course, keeping those things in mind, we take a call. So never anything such incident never happened.
So how good was the food and the drinks on the trip? Are we eating local stuff? Can you give us some ideas?
Oh my God. That's a very good question. So let me remind you all that along with the wildlife safari, this Grand India is also a food safari as well. Like you get to taste a lot of food in the lodges. We even get continentals, Mediterranean sometime, and Oriental, and of course the local food like the Indian local food, or which are popular in that zone. But we eat and eat and eat. So yeah, so we and hopefully, like most of the time, we are back in Delhi without having a Delhi belly. So that makes a lot of sense. Food are
Great.
amazing. It's very delicious. I always gain a lot of weight after all these trips.
Great. Thanks for the advice and the warning. Um, so your photographs are excellent. Lots of compliments on them. Can you tell us what camera you're using?
So this is Nikon D7000, and the lens I use is 1855 and with 18300.
Great. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, that is going to be the last question that we do have time for today, Arpita. So I'd like to hand it back to you for any closing comments you may have for us.
Thank you so much for listening to all this story. And I know today it just happened. Like there was not like the prep thing. I while seeing those pictures, while telling you all the stories, I could again revive the entire trip. So thank you so much for listening to me so carefully and asking questions. And I hope someday I'll see you all and have a great week ahead. And thank you, Rob, as well. Have a nice day.
Arpita, thank you so much for taking the time to present for us today. And I'd also like to thank everyone who tuned in today. Now, if you are interested in information on how you can travel with NatHab, give us a call at the number on your screen, or you can send us an email at info@nathab.com. Our adventure specialists are happy to help you out. Join us tomorrow for our next daily dose of nature. You can check out this week's lineup, including registration links, on our website at nathab.com/webinars. We did record today's presentation, and we will have the replay available on our website soon. With that, I will conclude today's webinar. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time.